So we didn't listen to the lawyers. They are asking €2,500 and then give me contradictory answers considering our situation. Do they actually know their stuff, or will they be figuring things out as they go? It was quite a fun ride. I regret nothing, but let me explain how and why and what does it actually take to get a residency in Bulgaria. We didn't plan on moving to Bulgaria. It was not even on our list at first. And after spending some time in Southeast Asia, we knew we wanted to relocate to Europe, to a country that would offer us a good ratio of quality of living versus costs. Sorry for my raspy voice. I got a bit sick. Feeling better already, but the voice is still here. But work waits for no woman, so let's continue. We first went to Germany for a couple of months, and that clearly showed us it's not for us. The bureaucracy, the months of waiting for permits. Some people live there for a year or two waiting for their permit. The housing situation, the good furnished apartments well located at a reasonable price, they are basically non-existent. Even if you go up on your budget, it's just really hard to find something. And that's when actually I remembered a German friend who is living in Bulgaria for 6 years now. And he seems to be happy there because originally he told me that he heard about Bulgaria, that it has 10% tax. He did some research. And in 2 months, literally, he was on a plane from Germany to Bulgaria and hasn't looked back since. So we thought, well, if he likes it so much, maybe it's worth checking out. And we quickly booked a ticket to Sofia. We had some days off. And the first day in Sofia, well, we were questioning our choices because it got me thinking that if we do relocate here, it's gonna be a marriage of convenience. The neighborhood was not the best. The apartment did surprise us, and that actually continues till this day, that apartments can be surprisingly well furnished. But the neighborhood was, well, let's say it's not that well kept. But luckily we had 3 full days in Sofia. One of the days we were meeting with a friend, and hearing his impressions of living in Sofia for such a long time. And another day we planned to go to residential neighborhoods to check them out and to see for ourselves, to get a feeling, is this a place for us? Because taxes are really important, but there are countries with zero tax, right? Why don't just relocate there? You have to like the place. It has to do something more for you than just the low tax. And then Sofia did start growing on us, and the other residential neighborhoods that we went to, they were much greener, nicer, better maintained, good infrastructure, the houses, they were modern houses. So when we saw all that, it actually reminded us of Antalya because of the mountains and the greenery. So we were like, yeah, this is a really strong contender for our next home base. But we did hear from other expats about Plovdiv, about Varna, about Burgas, that those are the cities where life can be even cheaper, and they are all very livable, and Burgas and Varna are by the seaside. So naturally we thought that maybe that would be a better option. And I will do a comparison video for you if you're at that stage. For now, to keep it short, I would say that we did travel, came back to Sofia, and it was not even a question for us that this is our future home. We're working remotely. We need a stable home base where we have enough space, where we have good internet, where we have infrastructure around us, like parks, shops, metro, buses, things like that. We don't need buzzing nightlife or crazy restaurants. If we do want something like that, we can always hop on a plane and on our holiday go to Netherlands, go to Germany, go to Greece, go to Spain. So because of the priorities that we have now, Sofia was our only choice. Priorities might change, and maybe, who knows, in 5 to 10 years we will move out of Sofia to a different city. But right now we feel that Sofia will be our home for at least 5 to 10 years. So we came back to Germany and decided that, so yes, Sofia is our new home. We set a moving date 1 month ahead and started diving deep into research what it would actually take to move to Bulgaria and get a residency permit. And now a year later, I'm helping other expats who are moving to Bulgaria because I do know how overwhelming all those decisions are when you are comparing countries and worried about making the wrong call. So we had less than a month to figure things out or risk being separated again. My husband Rene is from the Netherlands, so for him time was not the issue. But for me, my Schengen visa was already running out, and we already spent 6 months apart the previous year, and we were determined not to do that again. And our plan was simple: go to Sofia, find the apartment and start the residency application process. But there was very little room for errors or delays. The difficult part was that Renee needed to keep working remotely, and my plan was keep working too, keep making videos for these channels, work on the guides, support the Danang expat community. But in the end, all I had time for is to support people in the Danang community and nothing else, because basically the pressure of sorting out our legal situation, it completely took over. Of course, first thing we thought about is let's hire a professional, someone who is doing it regularly. I even got contacts of 5 different lawyers, but when I started emailing them, it was still about 3 weeks before we even moved to Sofia. I would ask them about our specific situation, about my visa running out, will we be able to make things on time? And one answer was this, another answer was that, and the third answer was just completely vague. And the price tag was €2,500 for both of us. So I was presented with a choice: either do it completely myself or pay €2,500 and just hope and pray that they will be able to make things on time and things will work out. If things would be done professionally, that is an acceptable price. But I was not sure. I never met those people. It's just one email. You don't see them, you don't talk to them, and already is expected to make the full payment, which is completely understandable. Nobody should work for free. But our problem was that we were not sure in the quality of the job that's going to be done. If you ever experienced service industry in Southeast Europe, it can be lacking at times. And once you find a person who does their job well, you hold on for dear life to that person. Many people don't even share such people, because if I share that person, they will not be able to work for me anymore. With lawyers, of course, the situation was different, because people only need their services once. But still, it was hard to trust someone based on just one recommendation. Basically, at that point, I had no other choice but to figure things out myself. But it did come at a cost, and that's where the real work started. So the first thing every foreigner has to do to start the relocation process is to find a good apartment. To be prepared, I started doing research even before we went to Sofia. I found apartments that looked good, I contacted the agents, and I arranged the viewings. And once we were in Sofia, we had only 1 week to find the perfect one. And it can be especially confusing when you don't know the city much, you don't know how things work, how not to get overcharged. But because I arranged the viewings even before we arrived to Sofia, on the first week we were able to already see 4 apartments. And to be honest, none of them were perfect. But we did find one that ticked most of our boxes, and the price, I guess we could have negotiated a lower one, but again, if you have time to negotiate, if you have time to look at other apartments, that's all possible. But for me, my Schengen visa is running out. Time is ticking, we need to make a decision. So we chose the apartment that offered us the best quality-price ratio. And to be honest, it was the most expensive one out of the ones we looked at, but it also offered us the most. So we signed the contract, got the keys, we had the apartment, and now the real challenge begins. The migration office. And at that point, I was not prepared for how much time it would actually take at the migration office, because I needed to go there multiple times and queue every single time for an hour or 2, even if I needed to just ask a simple question or I just need to give them some document, or to even get my residency card. Everyone is queuing at the same line. So some people before you might take half an hour. There were someone who took 40 minutes. And you cannot go to a different queue even if your thing is just 5-minute question. It definitely helps if you don't really need to ask questions, if you already know everything and just submitting your documents. Then you're just there 2 or 3 times, depending on your situation. And I did my best to prepare every time as good as I can. I would prepare questions in Bulgarian. I would do my best to fill in the documents the best that I could, but I did not have any external help. And so it did result in me spending quite some days just queuing. Before I went even for the first time with Renee to help him with his application, I already researched all the documents, filled them in. They are filled in Bulgarian. And the problem that I encountered is that the migration website, and they have a list of documents there. You can always check it out for the updated list. But the problem was that some of the forms that you need to fill in, on the Bulgarian version of the website, there is a link to download them. On the English version one, there is no such link. And in the beginning, I looked at the English version of the website, and I do remember spending the whole day trying to find all the documents on that website. I was also looking in chats, looking online wherever I could. I just couldn't find it. And my tester husband, Renee, he was the solution. He somehow figured out that if you switch back to Bulgarian, here you go, all the documents are available. And not to bore you here with all the official documents, I created a free checklist. And if you're totally lost, you can message me. That's what I do now, helping people through this stuff so they don't waste weeks like we did. You will find all the links in the description. And honestly, we had to figure out these things piece by piece, and every day was like, okay, what kind of documents am I going to be asked today? Which notary or translator I have to go today? Where do I find them? It is all, I must say, manageable. You can do it. I did it. You can too, but just be prepared that it will take quite some time to figure these things out. If you are working remotely, you might have to take quite some time off to do all those things. In terms of language barrier, I do remember him in migration a bit lost and, looking at me with puppy eyes like, please, can you translate for me? Where do I go? What are they telling me? That was quite a fun experience in that situation for your husband, who is this strong guy taking care of you, and now he's completely dependent on you. In a way, I kind of liked it, to be that woman where, come with me, I will take care of you, I will show you where things are. It was a really fun experience. So, back to business. We got all the documents for Renee submitted. It was all good, and in just 3 days, he already got his residency card. He's now officially a resident of Bulgaria. But what about me? Are we gonna get separated again? So if your partner or family member does not have an EU passport, then they will be in the same situation as me. Once the person who has the EU passport got his residency in 3 to 4 days, now your non-EU partner can apply. And so the story begins. We don't have this document, we don't have that document. I have to come again and again, learn the art of queuing, get this translated, that notarized, sometimes do it really fast so I can run back and forth. Even more so, with one of the documents, I submitted a normal translation, a regular one, and it was supposed to be a notarized translation. So they didn't reject my documents right away. They said, we are taking this, but please come again and bring us the notarized translation. So that was, of course, another couple of days lost in the queues and in running around town finding the translator. But at least my application was not rejected, and that was a really important thing for me. So once I submitted all the documents needed, my main question remained. The visa is running out. I'm showing it in my passport. Can I actually stay in Bulgaria while I'm waiting for my residency? Because they tell me I have to wait 1 month or maybe even longer, and my visa is running out in 2 weeks. And that is the answer I could not actually get from lawyers. And at the migration, I must say, they were also quite vague about it. They were just like, yeah, it's okay. We will call you. We will message you. It's okay. And I'm like, okay, well, If they say I'm fine, then I must be fine, right? So the waiting process began, and I remember it's 2 days on my visa and I still get no answer. Then I messaged myself and they messaged back that I can come and pick up my temporary card. So that was actually a huge relief. Now I knew that we can wait as long as needed. There is no rush anymore. The only thing that we had to do as well is to come for an interview. And actually we were interviewed separately, so it's all serious. It's not just a joke there. First I was interviewed and then Renee. Questions were simple. How did we meet? What are we doing in Bulgaria? What are our plans for the future? So it was just a casual conversation. If you're indeed a couple or family, if you're not doing something shady, then for sure you will not have any problems with that interview. And actually the woman who was doing interview with me, she, I think, was maybe a head of a department or something like that. And she was like super friendly. So she could not give me the real green light answer, but from what she said, I understood that I have nothing to worry about. And indeed, in about a month, I got my residency card. So total, it was a month and a half. And if we count from where we just arrived to Sofia, it took about, well, a month and 3 weeks. Something like that. For Renee, for someone who has a European Union passport, it only takes 3 to 4 days. Plus, of course, the time to do research, to find an apartment, to visit migration several times, to get all the documents ready. That can take 2 months, maybe less, maybe more, depending on if you can have time off work or not. So if I could go back and tell myself one thing, is I would say, don't overthink things. It will take a lot of time from you and a lot of effort, but in the end, things will work out just fine. And if you're at the same stage where you cannot make a decision, where you don't know how things would go, and you want to ask me some questions, join the chat. The link is in the description.